to see if we're on, is that the idea?
Yeah. I thought I had the link on here, Darren. One second. It says live.
Thank you.
Let me just make sure I can
All right.
hear everything.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Where is it today? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing so we can take a moment of silence for those who are serving in the military, our police, firefighters, EMTs, and our DPW when they are out on the road working at all hours of the night, keeping the streets safe. Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, would you read the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
In compliance with the provisions of Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice in the December 2024 edition of the Trends. This notice was also placed on the Kinnelon Borough website and sent to the North Jersey Herald News, the Record, and posted on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Mabey?
Here.
Councilman Cherto?
Here.
Councilman Harris?
Here.
Councilwoman Frank?
Here.
Councilman Reckler?
Here.
Councilman Lewis?
Here.
All right. The mayor apologizes tonight for not being able to attend this meeting, but his sister passed away unexpectedly, and he is spending tonight with his family. So we're going to begin tonight's meeting with a presentation from Beth McManus of Kyle and McManus Associates. The council hired Ms. McManus and as the Kinnelon's Affordable Housing and Redevelopment Advisor, and we will be discussing Ordinance 2125, an ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan Block 45301, Lot 102, Route 23, Borough of Kinnelon, Morris County, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sequitur. So I ask that you hold all your questions and comments until Ms. McManus has finished her presentation, and then I will, after the council comes back and onto the dais, then we'll open it to the public and you can make your comments, and Ms. McManus will answer those questions as she can. And so everyone would like to proceed down. Ms. McManus, you have the floor. Well, you know, it's Christmas.
As Council President said, my name is Beth McManus. I'm the Borough's Affordable Housing and Redevelopment Planner. And I've been working with the Borough for quite some time to put together what is this evening a draft redevelopment plan for the Meadtown Theater property. It's located at 1481 Route 23 and Block 45301, Lot 102. And so this evening, I'm going to provide an overview of what's contained in the redevelopment plan, which for folks' information, the redevelopment plan is ultimately going to serve as the site's zoning. It'll set forth the permitted uses, bulk standards, etc., everything that you might expect to help regulate redevelopment of a property here in the borough or most any place in New Jersey. Okay. So, first, I want to be clear that we're talking about redevelopment plan, which means that we're dealing with a little bit of a different process, although it has a lot of overlap to what we might do for a regular or a typical rezoning of a property. But here, speak up. Oh, I will use the microphone too. That would help. Sorry about that. Thank you. So we're in a redevelopment area, and the redevelopment area was designated quite some time ago, and it was done via a resolution by this governing body. Actually, is that right? Almost a year ago today, actually, coincidentally, the site was designated as an area in need of redevelopment, and that's necessary in order to then adopt a redevelopment plan. Redevelopment planning has some advantages to municipalities, and I think the biggest one and the one that's being taken advantage of here in Kinnelon is it gives the borough absolute certainty as to what will be developed. If that's an advantage that they'd like to exercise, and that's something that this redevelopment plan does. So that means that we were able to negotiate and discuss and regulate the exact architecture and site design of the property, as opposed to leaving it up to the planning board to work out with the developer. It puts the municipality in a much stronger position to ask for those things that are important to it, such as architectural standards and any other site design standard, many of which you'll see reflected in the plans that I'm going to show in just a few slides. So first, just to make sure we're all comfortable about where we're talking about, the site here is identified in blue, and it's the old Meadtown Theater property, which is located towards the back of the property. The site has 2 road frontages. I guess technically it has 1 road frontage. The property, the Meadtown Theater site, has frontage along Cakeout Road, and you can see that on the left side of the screen. Now, today, there is no access, no driveway to Cakeout Road, and just to get out in front of this issue, I will say there is no planned, proposed, or permitted access or driveway to Cakeout Road as a result of this redevelopment plan. In fact, the woodlands that exist there today, that you can see again on the left side of the screen, will continue to be there through any redevelopment of the site. The way that the site is currently accessed is actually through, or rather from, Route 23. And so as you can see on this plan, the property directly abuts the borough's border with Butler, and there is a little bit of you can see the corner of the white building shown on the aerial photograph that's almost entirely located in Butler, is also on this property. And as a result of that little corner of the property, but also due to the access and the shared parking arrangement, the site essentially functions as part of one property with a shopping center in the front along Butler and the Meadtown Theater at the rear. And so the driveway and public road access for anybody that will go to this property will all come from Route 23 and will drive past the shopping center to this property. Sorry about this. As I said, the property is lot 102. We've got about 2.5 acres of land for this entire property, excluding anything located within Butler. And then the last item that I want to highlight is the fact that this property is located within the Highlands Preservation Area. And that's important in part for some regulations, but it also helps to enforce what the borough is looking to have achieved on this property, which is to have site work, any development to take place within the existing paved area, within the existing disturbed area. And so that's going to further reinforce the requirement that access not be created from Cakeout Road, and that existing buffer along the road be maintained. And the last component that I want to address is what we have is a significant parking area, more or less surrounding the theater property. Of those parking spaces, there are 30 that are subject to a lease agreement between the property owner and NJDOT. And that's associated with a bus stop that's within Butler along the Route 23 frontage of the adjacent shopping center, not the one that's shared with our property, but immediately to the north. Those 30 parking spaces are reserved for the purpose of those taking the bus. They are parking spaces that are regularly used, but also able to be canceled if there's a need for cancellation. Any party, whether it's DOT or the property owner, can cancel the lease such that there's no use of parking on this property for DOT if that's necessary. In terms of, as I said, we're located within a redevelopment area, and that means that we have a bit of a different process and statutory authority that we're going through. So one, not only does that mean that we have to go through the redevelopment designation process, and that's actually what specifically authorizes the borough to go through and adopt a redevelopment plan, but as part of considering the designation, it means that we had to go through the preliminary investigation, find that the criteria was satisfied. All of that was done, and that's exactly what led us to today. And there are several steps involved in this process, but the part that I really want to highlight, rather than going through each of the steps, is the fact that as you may see, the last bullet item is bold, and that is because we are at the last step of the process. There's the designation process, the authorization, etc., public hearing on the redevelopment criteria, but ultimately the final step is to go ahead and adopt the new zoning or redevelopment plan for the site, and that's exactly the subject of tonight's public hearing. One other aspect that I think is important, as you go through the redevelopment plan, it's much shorter than the borough's land development ordinance, and that is because while the bulk standards, the permitted uses, all of that supersede the underlying zone district, the zoning that exists today. Anything that is not addressed in the redevelopment plan, such as, for example, lighting is a great example, all of the borough's existing standards will be applicable. So while what's written in the redevelopment plan supersedes or overrides the zoning standards, to the extent that the redevelopment plan is silent, the borough's existing standards do apply. And so that allows us to have a relatively short redevelopment plan with new standards applicable only to this property, while being able to backfill any other desired standards using what the borough's already adopted and found to be appropriate here. There are a handful of goals and objectives that I want to highlight that are set forth in the redevelopment plan. The first one, I think first and foremost, is to promote redevelopment and promote economic development here. We have a property that is an eyesore, I think, to put it nicely. And through this redevelopment plan, we're going to be able to bring the site back to a productive use and create something that's nice looking and I think actually has some value for the community. Another goal is to promote smart growth principles consistent with the Highlands Regional Master Plan. As I said, the site is in the preservation area, and as part of that, it means that the redevelopment plan requires that new development take place within the existing paved area. Another goal is to improve the physical appearance of the site. So yes, the building, but not only the building, the site itself is in need of attention, and there's significant opportunity for it to be upgraded so that it looks nicer from the perspective of having new plantings, a better circulation pattern, etc. And so this redevelopment will help establish that. We also have a goal to promote new residential housing options, and I think there are really two purposes for this. First is it creates a total of 20 new apartments. It's a housing type for which there's limited opportunity here in Kinnelon and actually in some ways in some areas the surrounding region. But also this redevelopment plan specifically helps the borough meet its affordable housing obligation. And so the 20 units and the affordable housing set aside, which as I'll go through in a minute, but ultimately it's 3 affordable units. While it's only 3 units, these units are critical for helping the borough achieve approval of its affordable housing plan, and that's actually a process that the borough is going through right now as we work through the court program in order to secure that approval for our housing plan. And then the last goal is to simply complement the existing development patterns, and I say that because, as you'll see, this is going to be a mixed-use development that will have some commercial use consistent with what you see in the surrounding area. But then the residential units on the property will also help provide some economic support. Some people like the term walking wallets, of having folks in close proximity to these non-residential uses, which just makes it very convenient for the residents of these 20 homes to frequent the businesses right in the surrounding area. So the permitted uses, it's in general, I would say it's 2 broad categories. First is multifamily housing, including the affordable units, up to a maximum of 20 total units. The second category are non-residential commercial uses. So it's restaurant, retail, and office uses, as well as personal services, like a barbershop, for example, that are permitted. As I said, this is one of our affordable housing components. Of those 20 units, there's a set aside required of 15% if the units are for rent, or 20% if the units are for sale. This is consistent with the borough's what's referred to as a mandatory set aside ordinance, and it's also consistent with what you typically see for affordable housing projects that are at this stage, in the sense that they've been in the works and being planned for quite some time. And so my expectation here is that of the 20 units, we'll have 3 affordable units. So this on the screen is a concept plan that's included within the redevelopment plan, and this is a concept plan that dictates how the site shall be redeveloped. Unlike typical zoning, where the zoning might say, well, the setback has to be a minimum of this, and the impervious cover is a maximum of that, etc., and then really leaving things up to the developer to interpret or perhaps request relief from, this redevelopment plan gives certainty to everybody. And it states that the site plan application and the eventual development shall be substantially consistent with this concept plan. And ultimately, what you see here is a new building in approximately the location of the existing Meadtown Theater property, along the front or the left side, right here. This depicts some outdoor dining associated with what's anticipated to be a restaurant, that commercial use that I had discussed right here. And then we have a newly configured parking area that includes this shape right there. That's actually a rain garden to help provide some stormwater management. And so what I would identify from this property in terms of significant features, identified from the concept plan, is not only the building being continued to be located towards the rear of the property in roughly the existing location as the existing building. We have an outdoor dining area along the front that will, I think, create a really great space for what is hopefully going to be a restaurant along the front of the building facing Route 23. We also have a rain garden that will, I think, be a nice feature in the sense that it'll look very nice for those on the property, but it's also going to provide some stormwater management benefits. We retain the existing woodlands along Takeout Road, and in fact, there's no additional impervious cover as a result of this development in that area, or actually anywhere on the property. And then we have some reconfigured parking, really just to accommodate the new building, accommodate the rain garden, etc. In terms of architecture and building design, it's a similar scenario in the sense that the redevelopment plan includes these 2 renderings, and it states that the site plan application as well as the eventual development must be substantially consistent with the renderings that you see here. And to understand the plan, what I would suggest is, or what I'd offer is on the right side of the screen, it's looking at the top image. On the right side of the screen is the commercial use, and in fact, the redevelopment plan requires that is where the commercial use is located. So it's located towards the front, towards Route 23. The anticipation is that that will be a restaurant. You can see the outdoor dining surrounding it. And then towards the rear of the building is the residential use. And you can hopefully make out the door on towards the back of the building. That is the access to the residential units, to the 20 units at the rear of the property. And so the redevelopment plan requires this architecture, and I think some of the distinguishing features are the mix of materials, notably more natural materials. We have brick, stone, and then some variety of colors in the sense that it's the red brick, it's the off-white or the gray stone, mixed with accents such as the black, and also a variety of windows, all of which is intended to create a building that is not quite, has a modern appearance, but really evokes also some more traditional building elements with the cornice, et cetera, in some of the proportions. And with that, folks, that's really an overview of what's contained in the redevelopment plan. It's rather simple from the perspective of it permits one building with a total of 20 units, about 3,400 square feet of commercial space is anticipated. And as I said, it provides or requires 3 affordable units to assist with achieving our affordable housing compliance. And so with that, folks, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Let us go back up to the dais, and then you can hold over. Is she able to take questions? She will be, as soon as we get back up. Okay, thank you. So we can look at you rather than have you in the back.
You have a nice jacket on her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. McManus is going to add one more thing to her presentation, and then we'll open it for the public.
Yeah. The council asked me to address the building height because it's likely to be a question from folks. So the maximum permitted building height as stated in the redevelopment plan is 35 feet. And that's a typical building height for a single family home. It's measured to the building roof. And while it's 35 feet, as you may have noticed in the rendering, it's a total of 3 stories, but within that 35-foot height limit.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, I'd like to open it to the public. Would anyone like to make comments or ask questions of Ms. McManus? Sorry.
Just a question, Eric.
Sure.
Come up and give your name, please.
Just to make it official, Ed.
Ed Morva, 48 Temple Road. So the question I have, a very nice presentation, thank you very much. So we're going to have questions for Ms. McManus now. And then will we have questions relating to this project during the public portion?
I would rather that we get it all out during this section so that we can move on, if we
Okay.
could,
When will you be voting on this proposal?
today.
When, during this meeting?
Right after the public portion of this.
Right after the public
Yes.
portion, the first vote? So the first order of business will be you guys voting on this?
Yes.
Okay, so I just had one question for Ms. McManus, and I've got to grab some things from my chair. You said this is the last step, and I think you answered it. This is the last step tonight.
Yes, it is.
Once you guys vote, then either you vote yes or you vote no.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll be back.
And I need some more questions, but let me just make sure I didn't add to any confusion. this is the last step in the redevelopment process. I want to be very clear that if the council approves this or adopts this redevelopment plan, the developer will still need to go to the planning board for site plan approval. So in case that was perhaps the thought, there's always a requirement that a developer go to the planning board, receive site plan approval, just like any other developer, regardless of the fact that they're in a redevelopment plan.
And would have to pass the planning board.
Absolutely.
And then the planning board would go back and forth with the developer.
Absolutely.
For whatever's best for the
And that will be a
town.
publicly noticed planning board meeting, just like any other development application.
Okay, all right. So I will be back.
Okay. Are you going to come right back, or?
Well, if someone else wants to speak, I just wanted to get something from my chair.
Well, go ahead and grab what you have from your chair, because you only get one shot at it, Ed. And we won't count the time off for the time you walk to your chair. Oh, I would also like to just remind the public that we're going to limit the comments to 5 minutes per person, so that we don't end up running this till midnight tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just want to begin and first thank the council for their time and effort, as usual, for what they do during the year. The developer has every right to build on this property. So there's no dispute that this developer has every right to build since it's commercial and he owns it. So one of the issues that I have with this property is that, and I've been here before, is the 35-foot height restriction. So in the proposal, it says that the roof is 41 feet. So I'm just going to read a couple of quick things. The discrepancy raises concerns that it may set a precedent for future developments, potentially allowing for even taller structures than currently permitted. This could change the character of our town and lead to the possibility of a 4-story, 6-story, 8-story building in the future. There's also issues with fire trucks. Can a fire truck reach our 41-foot limit, or the 41-foot roof that we have right now? And I don't think we have a fire truck that could reach that. So if you go, do you guys have a copy of this proposal? Anyone? No? Yeah? Do? Okay. If you go to section 5.3, number 5, and go to number 5, and then go to double I. As shown in Exhibit B, the southern end of the building may have a parapet that increases the maximum height to not more than 41 feet. So that's what it says. In the future, a builder could come by with a proposal and say, hey, you gave these people a 41-foot height, you exceeded the 35 feet. Why can't I exceed it? Why can't I go to 4 stories or 6 stories or 8 stories? And really, the bottom line is, I don't want to see a high-rise building behind Stop and Shop. And this opens a Pandora's box. And you guys have the ability right now to make some decisions. So a vote yes tonight would mean that there might be a Pandora's box opened here. And what I have is doubt. I have doubt that we could protect ourselves in a lawsuit. How can we be assured that we wouldn't be open to a lawsuit and open up a Pandora's box? One way is to get a position paper or some representation from the attorney from the planning board. The other way would get a position paper from our attorney here, Mr. Gilbin, so that we don't have to have doubt. Mr. Gilbin
It's actually Giblin, but go ahead.
Giblin, okay. He can give us a position paper and state whether we can be sued or not. I have doubt. I don't know if you have doubt, but I think this opens up a can of worms. I think it opens up a Pandora's box. I would urge the board to postpone this vote tonight. It's just before Christmas. There's not a lot of people that are aware of this. What's the difference if you postpone it 1 month? To protect the town. And I would urge the council to have Attorney Giblin prepare something to protect the town. I would vote no tonight. This is a legacy vote for you folks. If we get sued in the future and you vote yes, this is a legacy vote that will stay with you. Give it a month. It doesn't hurt a thing. We're not here for the builder. We're here for the town. Please vote no. Or at least postpone 1 month.
Well, the board, the mayor and council can't postpone 1 month because you can't carry a redevelopment plan or an ordinance from 1 year into the next, and that's what we'd be doing. So it would be at least several months. Not that that's an issue, but just, it can't be 1 month. Did you want to address?
Fine.
Yeah.
Then postpone it several months because this could change the face of Kinnelon.
So a couple things. I heard two primary concerns. One is that allowing for the higher building of the maximum height is 35 feet, but you're right, in section 5 it does allow for the parapet at the front of the building facing Route 23 where the commercial site is to be as high as 41 feet. So to your point, it does allow for a bit of an increase in the building height. So I heard two concerns. One is about precedent, that this is going to open up the borough to higher buildings imposed upon us in the future and in other locations, and two, a concern about whether or not the fire truck can access the building. I don't believe that there's been an objection from the fire department here, but my understanding is also that in addition, the borough has a shared relationship with Butler to the extent that it's necessary in the event of fires. I know that Butler has has a fire truck that can deal with buildings that are several stories, perhaps 6+ stories. And as this building is located on the border with Butler, it seems that it would be very easily served to the extent that that is necessary, just as a backstop for borough equipment. But more in my area of expertise is in regard to the precedent and what this might mean for other areas of Kinnelon. There is no, as Mr. Giblin may say, there's no way for us to prevent anybody from being sued, the borough from being sued. But what I can say is if we are sued, I cannot imagine success of a developer pointing to this redevelopment plan and saying, therefore, they should get access to not only something the same, but something significantly taller. I don't foresee any way for this redevelopment plan to be used to support 4 stories, 5 stories, 6 stories, or more. But furthermore, to the extent that they even wanted to utilize this redevelopment plan to leverage the borough for another property, what I would say is this is a very unique site. The property is located to the rear of a commercial property, and so it has visibility issues. It's subject to a redevelopment plan, which allows the municipality to do very site-specific zoning, and that's similar to the way that we're providing a concept plan and the architecture plans. It is very site-specific zoning, including but not limited to the building height. And in addition to some of these site-specific factors, there are I would also offer that there are limited other properties in the borough that are going to share these same considerations of a redevelopment plan on a property that is that has been
long suffering for vacancy and underutilization, and that too, I think helps support the borough being flexible on this particular property, but does not bear relevance or importantly offer leverage to a developer for them to use for a different property.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that, and I think that as lawsuits come forward, there's so many developers that have prevailed in lawsuits. We have a developer in town that's going to be developing a site, has prevailed in several lawsuits. My contention is Mr. Giblin and the attorney for the planning board present a paper to the town, present a paper to the council and the planning board with their positions.
I don't think-
Excuse me, I'm not done. With their positions. Also, as far as the fire truck is concerned, what if they have a fire at the same time? And all of a sudden, we can't get a fire truck
Well, I'm
here?
going to answer that question, Ed, and then I'm going to have to ask you to
That's
give
fine.
up the chair.
Sure.
Both Bloomingdale and Butler have ladder trucks that can easily access the 41 feet, the 3 stories. And we have mutual aid agreements with both of them, and the fire company is confident that with this, the construction of this building, that we would be perfectly able to address it if there were a fire.
Thank you. One last
It'll be a
thing.
sprinkler building.
Go ahead, Mr. Gilbert. Well, but before that, one last thing. And I know my time's up.
Your time is up, Ed.
Okay.
Real fast.
What if a single-family homeowner comes and sues the town and says, I want to build 3 stories. I want to go to 45 feet. Again, we're opening up a Pandora's box. Postpone this vote.
As Ms. McManus said, anybody can sue anybody for any reason. All you need is $300 and access to the courthouse. But I can tell you, having done zoning and land use law for almost 40 years, there is no precedential value at all to allowing this to be developed.
Great, put it in writing.
Okay,
I
Ed,
just put it on a record.
No, put it in writing to the council.
I don't answer to you, sir. I answer to
Well,
the
that's
council.
fine. Then
If they
I'll
would like me to do it,
ask
I'm happy
Eric,
to do it.
as the councilman up front. I know Jimmy's not here. I would request put it in writing. Take a position.
all right. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for your time. Would anyone else like to speak? Mr. Schlett? One more person and then you, sir.
Just your name, please.
Fred Chalette.
Thank you.
I'm a long-term resident of Kinnelon of 65 years. And I'd just like to start by saying I've seen things from Mark Reitner's country store to everything that we have today. And in my opinion, and I'm speaking from my opinion, everything has been positive with what we've been doing. And I could also be mistaken when, with the height restrictions saying that on a building, the height restrictions is an average, not a specific point, but I could be wrong.
That's correct.
I'd also like to speak about the fire department. I haven't heard anything in contrast to saying we don't support this. And yes, we have mutual aid with many towns. And in the recent future, we have gone all over supporting other towns and them supporting us. So I have no issues, being a long-term fireman as well, being able to support a structure like this. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents and saying 100%, I support this.
Thank you. Sir, you would like to be next?
Good evening, everyone. And again, thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone, for the work that was done, the thoroughness that everything was handled with.
Your name, sir?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would like to address...
Sir, your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My first name is Anthony, A-N-T-H-O-N-Y. Last name is Bontempo, B-O-N-T-E-M-P-O.
Thank you.
Okay. I am a resident of Kennewaw now for 42 years, moved here from Brooklyn, New York, loved every minute of it, and want to continue to love every minute of it. I would like to make a request, and the request stems from the, I will call it noise pollution, environmental pollution, and we do look at the top of everything right now. I'm a Bantha Road resident, so when we come down that hill, we have about a 100-foot drop from my home down to the Cakeout Road level. We are looking at the entire shooting match right now. Meadtown, theater, the mall, the stores and everything. If something can be done to restore the buffer that we once had, we lost a bunch of trees along Cakeout Road. I walked that constantly, and I saw the trees that were marked with the blue dots that the beetles got at and wiped them out. So if the developer could help in some way, shape, or form of restoring a buffer that we don't have to see everything, hear everything, and preferably not trees with leaves, that we lose that buffer in the winter, something of a evergreen nature that will stay there and not make another mess of leaves being all over the place. That's one thing I would definitely love. In the 42 years that I'm here, I've never heard so many damn motorcycles going up and down Route 23. I've never heard so many trucks and whatnot, and the pickup trucks with the diesel engines. Anything you could do to get rid of that or prevent any more of that coming to us would be greatly appreciated.
I think I might have, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. There's some language in the redevelopment plan that I think is helpful to you. So it requires that a buffer of 50 feet shall be required along Cakeout Road. It states that the natural vegetation can be used to satisfy that, but it can also be supplemented as may be practical and as necessary pursuant to the planning board. So when the developer arrives at the planning board, one of the things he'll have to do is talk about what is this buffer with, is it compliant, are additional trees necessary to address concerns, are additional trees necessary for compliance. And so what I would offer is that's a specific opportunity set forth in the redevelopment plan for the planning board to require it. And if you receive a notice, I don't know if you're within 200 feet of the property, if you're just that close, but anybody that has a concern will have an opportunity to attend the planning board meeting to talk about that, to the extent that the board members themselves don't pick up on the issue for the need for additional buffering. But it's explicit in the redevelopment plan that can be requested and required of the developer.
And I did see that with the 55-foot buffer to remain. But again, that we've got that buffer now, and like I said, I see everything and anything that you folks can do to help us, keep it a little bit out of sight, out of mind would be great. In reference to a couple of the other things that were mentioned, I too am not so comfortable. I wanted to go over to the Meadtown building and try and measure the height of it. Does anybody know the height of that theater?
Of the theater now?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know. And does anybody know the height of the non-parapet portion of, I'd say, Marshall's, Petco, and onward? Is that 35 feet, or am I going to be even higher than what those buildings are?
I have to say, I don't know.
Okay, I think that's things that we need to understand before we say a yay or a nay here. I don't particularly want anything higher than that. Again, I come from New York. I've seen how things migrate. I've seen how people do whatever the hell they want, when they want, and it's to your point, you don't like it, sue me. And unfortunately, us residents don't have the financial wherewithal to go through legal battles. So I rely on our representatives here to be a stopgate against that happening, where try and put guardrails in place where we don't exceed it, and when we do exceed it, me, the resident, doesn't have to go fight it. The town fights it. So I would request that we don't go more than the 35 feet, and if I could even go less, that would be great. Because I got a feeling Meadtown's not 35 feet.
Well, the one thing that we have to remember is that the ordinance, as it exists, the height ordinance, is 35 feet. So we can't suddenly say, you
Go
can't.
below it.
Yeah. They have,
So our max is 35 feet. We don't think that the
A
buildings
median.
that exist now are above the 35 feet, because it doesn't seem like anybody went for an ordinance.
right.
Okay. Other thing is, you are correct, there is access to this property from Route 23. I guarantee you, Cape Out and Keel is gonna get even more busy, which is a hellhole right now. I joke with the PD, they put a patrol car in by the dentist's office there, and I joke with them, I go, they're so well behaved at this intersection when you're sitting here. It's like a zoo. So I don't need a traffic light, please. I don't want another traffic light in town. And I happen to live in the one section of town that has 3. Cake Out connection, Maple Lake, and then Keel off of, all along Kennelon Road. So we don't need 4, but just remember, I don't think the majority of your traffic is gonna go in through 23. I think it's gonna come in by Marshall's, my other favorite store. Okay, so if I could ask those things, if we can have the town address a buffer to something to keep this at bay and put some guardrail in if that somebody gets creative that they want to go above the 35, 45 feet, I, a resident, don't have to go sue them, that the town steps in and takes care of that for me.
And Ms. McManus, I mean, this figure, this 35-foot figure is in stone right now, so it's not like they could just do it and then we have to accept it. They basically have to do exactly what they've stated that they're going to do, right? I mean, it's not like they get the...
I don't doubt you.
There's no wiggle room.
I don't doubt you, but
okay.
I live in Brooklyn, and I could show you things that have happened.
Well, if they put
I
it up,
know
then
they
they'll have
are
to take it
illegal,
back down.
And they want the residents to go say something. No, you broke a building code, Rudy.
Right. And we will keep an eye on that and make sure that what's in the plan is what is the actual, and they will have to adjust it if there's,
That I ask, and that I appreciate.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Someone else? Okay, this is going to be the last time we'll discuss this prior to, so, okay, thank you. So I'm going to close this to the public and bring it back to the dais. So, is there any discussion? Okay, at the dais?
In regards to, these are gonna be rentals. What's the chance of them being turned into condo? Is there a mechanism place for that? Because you said 20, and so if we do the 15%, it's 3. And then if it's condos, you said it goes up to 20%.
20% set aside. So my expectation is that they're going to be for rent. If the developer makes a change to actually build for sale units, that's permitted by the redevelopment plan. Once the units are constructed and the 3 affordable units are created, the developer or the property owner will not be able to convert those rental units, the 3 rental affordable units, to for sale units. And while that doesn't mean that the market rate rental units can't be converted to for sale units, I would suggest that that's going to make it much less likely, because at some point there will always need to be a property owner that can own and manage the affordable housing units. In my experience, I have yet to see an inclusionary rental project be converted to a for sale project while the affordable units are still in place.
With the affordable units, they had an HOA that managed it?
They're going to be deed restricted as and the reason why is the affordable units will be deed restricted as affordable rental units. And so they would have to lift the deed restriction, which is a very difficult task when we're talking about affordable housing. I don't know a developer that's been able to do that successfully.
That'll be for 40 years, the deed restriction, so it's quite a while.
All right, any other discussion that we'd like to have before we read this? Okay, can it be very brief?
Very brief.
Okay.
The parking spots that are now part of the New Jersey Transit lease, when they disappear, where are those folks gonna go? At the parking, are they gonna go over by Wawa or somewhere else, or are they just gonna blend into the parking spots that we're all fighting for now?
If those parking spaces are eliminated, it means that the only people that are able to park on that property are those that are using the site. So if the spaces are eliminated, presumably it's going to mean that there's less activity for the bus stop, in the sense that folks are going to be unable to park their vehicles on this property. To the extent that they can work something out with the property owner of land in Butler in front of the larger shopping center, that I can't anticipate. But for this particular property, if the spaces are not reserved, it won't be legal parking.
So my PD now is gonna be getting calls saying, I got people parking here, don't belong here, we gotta deal with this town?
As far as I know from other meetings with at the planning, that spot or that pickup on 23 is based on those spots. So as best as my knowledge, if those spots aren't there, there wouldn't be a pickup. Yeah, they would have to relocate that pickup spot. At least that's what I was told when they mentioned they had no intention of getting rid of those spots, but if it became an issue, they mentioned that would be a solution.
Yeah, it's I would say it's sort of a relief valve to the extent that parking can't be accommodated for the commercial and the residential uses on the site.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to read ordinance number 21-25, and that's the next step. So we have an ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan Block 45301, Lot 102 on Route 23, Borough of Kinnelon, Morris County. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on November 20th. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal building bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who'd like to speak. We've already done that. I will now close this meeting to the public. I've done that. Does anyone on the council wish to speak? I've done that. So I need a motion to adopt ordinance 21-2025.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay. And we're going to have a roll call on the ordinance, please. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
No.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
All right. So whereas the local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 40:12A-1 ex sequitur, the redevelopment law authorizes municipalities to determine whether the certain parcels of land in the municipality constitute areas in need of redevelopment, as such term is defined in the redevelopment law. And whereas pursuant to the redevelopment law, the mayor and council of Borough of Kinnelon, mayor and council, adopted resolution number 6/1724 authorizing and directing the borough planning board to undertake a preliminary investigation to determine whether the proposed study area, which included block 45301, lot 102, qualifies as an area in need of non-condemnation redevelopment pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-1 et sequitur. And whereas at a properly noticed public hearing on December 5th, 2024, where the public and other interested persons were given the opportunity to be heard, the planning board considered the testimony and evidence in support of a preliminary investigation report entitled Preliminary Investigation Report, Meadtown Theater, the Preliminary Investigation Report. And whereas after completing its hearing on the matter, the planning board recommended to the mayor and council that the delineation area set forth in the preliminary investigation report be determined by the mayor and council to be a non-condemnation redevelopment area. And whereas after receiving the recommendation of the planning board on December 19th, 2024, the mayor and council adopted resolution number 12.18.2024 determining that the delineation area set forth in the preliminary investigation report is a non-condemnation redevelopment area, quote, the redevelopment area. And whereas in order to effectuate the redevelopment of the redevelopment area, the borough authorized Kyle and McManus Associates to prepare a redevelopment plan for the redevelopment area, which is attached hereto and is entitled the Redevelopment Plan Block 45301, Lot 102, Borough of Kinnelon, Morris County, dated November 6, 2025, the redevelopment plan. And did Jim ever have to read one this long? Whereas, after reviewing the redevelopment plan, the mayor and council has determined that the redevelopment plan is substantially consistent with the borough's master plan and or is designated to effectuate the borough's master plan. Whereas the mayor and council desires to approve and adopt the redevelopment plan, and whereas a copy of the redevelopment plan shall be referred to the Borough Planning Board for a report regarding its recommendations concerning the same prior to final adoption of this ordinance. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the Borough of Kinnelon, County of Morris, State of New Jersey as follows. Section 1, the aforementioned recitals are incorporated herein as though fully set forth at length. Section 2, the Planning Board of the Borough of Kinnelon has reviewed the redevelopment plan and provided its recommendations pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 40A:12A-7E. Section 3, the redevelopment plan as filed in the office of the Borough Clerk and attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby approved and adopted pursuant to the terms of the redevelopment law. The redevelopment plan includes the approved Planning Board recommendations. Section 4, the zoning district map in the zoning ordinance of the borough is hereby amended to include the redevelopment area per the boundaries described in the redevelopment plan, and all of the provisions of the redevelopment plan shall supersede the applicable development regulations of the Bureau's municipal code, and as where indicated, Section 5, if any of this ordinance shall be deemed invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such part shall be severed, and the invalidity, thereby shall not affect the remaining parts of this ordinance. Section 6, a copy of this ordinance and the redevelopment plan shall be available for public inspection at the Borough of Kinnelon Municipal Building located at 130 Kinnelon Road, Kinnelon, New Jersey. Section 7, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by law. Introduced and adopted this day by the Borough of Kinnelon. So the motion carries to approve the redevelopment plan. All right, moving on. Ms. McManus, are you preparing to leave us? You can if you'd like.
I'm happy to stay for as long as the council would like.
No. I think I want to thank you for the time you spent with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your expertise in this, and thank you for all the explanations that you provided. And I'm sure we'll be talking with you sometime very soon.
Sounds
So,
good. Thank you very
for
much.
coming
Happy
tonight.
holidays, everybody.
Okay, so we have the mayor's report. Now if I can find. Okay, so Mayor Frida asked me to read a statement in regard to the affordable housing, and he asked me to read, in March of 2024, the New Jersey legislature adopted and Governor Murphy signed legislation that substantially changed the way municipalities were established and planned their constitutionally mandated affordable housing obligations. The legislation abolished COAH, C-O-A-H, and transferred its functions to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. Under the new legislation, municipalities seeking protection from builders' remedy suits were required to submit their fourth round affordability housing plans for the period of 2025 through 2035 on or before January 31st of 2025 by filing a complaint in Superior Court and setting forth their compliance plan. Kinnelon properly filed its plan but received two objections, one from the Fair Housing Center, which filed objections in over 400 municipalities, and one from Meridia, which owns a 2.7 acre site on Lead Mine Hill Road. Under the requirements of the new legislation, the borough and the objectors had several mediation sessions with a court-appointed retired judge and a planner. Over several meetings, the borough negotiated with Fair Share Housing Center and believed that it had come to terms with them. The borough also attempted to negotiate with Meridia, but was unable to reach agreement for several reasons. The Lead Mine Hill Road property is landlocked with no access to a public street and is not serviced by utilities. In addition, more than 70% of the site has steep slopes. Therefore, the borough does not consider the site suitable for development and did not include it in its affordable housing plan. Since the borough was unable to reach an agreement with Meridia, Fair Share declined to settle as well. The case has now been transferred to the Superior Court in Morris County, and the Mount Laurel judge will decide if the borough's plan is compliant. Okay. So, and if anyone has any comments on that, we will take comments at the public portion of this meeting. And so next we have council committee reports. And I would like to ask Councilman Sean Mabey to give his report on Public Works and Utilities.
Thank you, Councilman Harris. Just want to start out and give a shout out to Todd Viganeri. He celebrated his 25th year of service with WEW over there. We'll give him a shout out, and we're planning on next month doing a little presentation of the plaque and giving him accolades and appreciation for his service to the borough of Kinnelon and for the good work that he's done for us. I know he's a fan of the recreation department. Todd takes care of a lot of recreational fields and has always been willing to take that next step to make sure he does a great job for our fields and recreation. East Lake Drainage is started and rolling. They started out first by doing test holes. They're now laying basins and pipe. It will shut down for the holiday week, so no work will go on. They'll hopefully, weather permitting, take back off the following week after New Year's. If the winter holds a little bit loose and doesn't get crazy with bitter cold temperatures and tons of snow, by any luck, we'll get all the drainage in that area yet this winter. More to come. I'll keep everybody posted on that. We had a water main break on the end of Forestdale earlier in the week. Kudos to Superintendent Joe Niosi and his team at DPW. They've stepped up and started taking back over our water main breaks. In the past, over the past 4 or 5 years I've been on council, there was an intermittent part where we were not doing our own in-house water main breaks. Now we're staffing the DPW with the correct equipment, safety equipment and whatnot, and it saves a ton of money not outsourcing your water main breaks. So kudos to Joe and his crew. That's pretty much it for me.
All right, thank you, Councilman Mabey. Councilman Chirdo, Finance and Public Safety.
Thank you, Council President. So first, I'd like to just congratulate Sergeant Sean Padalita on his retirement for 25 years with the municipality and our police department. I got to know Sean prior to serving on council. He's a new resident in town, and it just seemed like I always would see the white pickup truck driving around. It didn't matter if I was mowing the lawn or blowing leaves. It was always a smile, a honk on the horn, and I was just a regular guy on Harrison Road, and just the way he always a smile, always friendly. One day I didn't even know that he was like the lead person on training on how to get car seats in, and he saw my wife struggling and came over. So he really embodies the Kinnelon spirit of what we do in this town. So I just want to thank him for everything that he's done for the last 25 years in our community. The fire department has had a number of calls, normal winter type calls, chimney fires, gas related calls after the snowstorm, while everybody's saying, you know what, I'm going to wait for it to stop snowing and then I'll go out and shovel my driveway. The fire department got a call for a car that was on a steep hill on the driveway, rolled back and went right into their gas meter and snapped the meter off. So I just want to thank them as well for always attending the calls, echoing Council Mabey. Our DPW is out around the clock, not only doing the streets, and then 48 hours later, a water main break, which, again, just echoing it, saves our community tens of thousands of dollars by being able to do this stuff in-house. And just just the speed of being able to do it, that we would have to wait for an outside contractor. Finance, capital plans are in the process of being submitted to our administrator for review. 2025 financial year is starting to wind down, which means 2026 is right around the corner. I encourage all the members of the governing body to work with the various departments and the department heads to review their 2026 departmental budget needs and capital needs. Just wanted a little shout out. Just want to thank the mayor reported. We voted on it last meeting, and it's just a great thing. And I apologize. I'm realizing I might steal some of your thunder. I hope I'm not. I just want to shout out to the mayor and Melanie for getting a short-term lease signed with OLM for their use of their gym. I think it's a great short-term lease to open up that facility for our youth program for the winter. I want to thank Karen, our clerk, Jen Almarat, Carly Hill, and the entire Winter Wonderland event committee. Our tree lighting, if you were there, you know how amazing it was. So many smiling faces. That event just keeps getting better and better as the years go by. So I just want to thank everybody that was a part of it. Our DPW setting up, our police doing the traffic for the horse-drawn carriage, fire company bringing in Santa, and I'm just going to end with thanking them and wishing everybody a blessed holiday season. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to add, Councilman, thank you for your report, but a public service announcement. Be really careful with your fireplace ashes. We've had in the past years and this year as well, incidents where people scoop out the embers in their fireplace. They either put them in a plastic bucket or they put them in a metal bucket, and then they set them out on their deck, or they set them out next to their garage, or sometimes they put them in the garage. And we've had an incident in Kinnelon where the entire back of a house was burned, and the house was uninhabitable for several years. We had an incident just recently where someone put their embers in a metal bucket into the garage and actually caught the garage on fire. So it's amazing how dangerous the embers are from your fireplace. So make sure that if you're going to take the embers out, you douse them with water, or if you put them outside, cover them. And don't put them near anything flammable. Don't put them on your deck. Don't put them next to your siding. Don't do anything. Be very careful, be vigilant, and make sure you don't end up not having a home in the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. All right. Ordinance report is next, but I'm going to skip myself, and we're going to go to the personnel. Councilwoman Frank?
Well, thank you. So for personnel, we do have a new firefighter on the agenda. We have the appointment of Thomas Stagnaniglio. It's really wonderful to welcome new folks, especially when they're volunteering their time and service to our community. Also want to, Anthony mentioned already, Sergeant Sean Padalita. 25 years is a long time anywhere in serving our community. Thank you so much for everything that you've given us. We wish him well. So with that, we would obviously, the police are going to be looking to hire. So it's a wonderful community. If you know anyone, have them contact and be in touch with the KPD for that. Also, the DPW is going to be advertising some open spots as well. So a lot of great opportunities to be involved with our town, giving back and being employed. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, we're going to go to OEM and coordinating. Councilman Reckler.
Good evening. Starts this meeting. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow, remember everyone deployed. As we push this season, I want to highlight Airman First Class John Bond. Kinnelon resident is in Hill Air Force Base in Utah, and he's in egress. You won't be home for Christmas. So think of everyone out there from five services. Coast Guard. That's not going to be home for Christmas. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Hope this festival ends not like how it started. The tragedy in Australia, as well as happening in college. It's scary what's going on out there. That time of year. Give them love, give them a hug. We'll give you a hockey fundraiser for our burgeoning dynasty across the street. It's going to be a flapjack breakfast or pancake breakfast Applebee's on January 11th, 0800 to 1000 hours. I want to piggyback everyone else in 25 years for anything. Sergeant Catalina, community service before self, integrity, all that. That's quite an accomplishment. I want to add why I just voted no as well. I think it looks like a nice building, tax revenue, absolutely comply with the equal housing, affordable housing mandates as well. I just thought it was judicious to look into that 41 as well. Instead of pushing it through in 2 months, we could have, my thoughts, waited for a couple months, and gotten it through just as easily. Finally, Board of Health, two ordinances are going to go through. They're doing a great job over there, finishing up a couple of things that I'd like you to be a part of, vaping, and massage parlors. So we're getting ahead of that. We're going to get regulated on that. They're going to pass that over to us on the council to vote on that. Both of those have been pushed through. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Recreation and Open Space, Councilman Lewis.
Thank you, Council President. I'll start with the food pantry. You know, I'm proud of the food pantry, and I want to start, I just want to thank everybody who donated and volunteered, reflecting back on Thanksgiving because of the generosity of this community. We were able to provide full Thanksgiving dinners to 67 families in need right here in our area. That's something we should all be proud of. As we head into Christmas, the need continues. If anyone is able to donate, drop-offs are at the Church of the Nazarene in Butler. Some of the specific items that are needed right now are biscuits, brownie mix, egg noodles, and baked beans, believe it or not. It's really important that we keep the food pantry in the forefront and continue helping families who are struggling, especially this time of year. On to the library report. Talk about the library, just looking at next week alone, during a short week, they have an incredible lineup. You can drop in for a dreidel scratch art. They have an artist Zoom program with an artist. You can go on a Zoom and be with an artist. There's a drop-in for Christmas present crafts. There's a bridge class. There's beginner ballet, Tai Chi, how you ever say Tai Chi?
Tai Chi.
That's it, you got it. And a drop-in, you can drop in for snowman crafts for kids. And that's just next week on a short week in our fantastic library. It's really doing some fantastic things. Recreation. We're coming to the conclusion of another very successful year in recreation. The registration is closed for the winter programs. All programs have very healthy numbers. We're currently drafting teams for basketball. Wrestling and hockey are underway. They're doing the New Jersey Devils on January 4th. We have almost 100 people. There's still time to get in there. You'd have to reach out to Mel at this point if you're looking to go to the Devils. Travel basketball teams have also begun. We have a record 12 travel teams, 4 of which are girls, and that's the first, competing against out-of-town competitions. We're excited to have the ability to utilize the OLM Gymnasium this January. That's something that our Recreation Director Melanie and Jim brokered that deal. It's going to really help us with gym space. Let's see. Did I mention the menorah? We have don't want to miss the menorah lighting on December 22nd, 7 p.m. by the library's own Bill Sachs. I went to it last year. It was very moving. If you haven't been to that, it's really a good thing to observe. Next year, just want to look into the future. There's a few things we're planning is bowling, a collaboration with Keisha, a 5K color run planned in 26, our egg hunt, and Mel's got a few other good things for the community. I know we're wrapping up the end of the year here. I want to shout out to a couple people too. Our borough administrator, I also want to give a shout out to our borough administrator, Craig Ambrosio. For the record, it's been a pleasure working with Craig this year. Whenever I call, he has answers, and he always keeps the best interests of the town at the forefront. Craig, I think you're doing a great job. It's much appreciated. Quick shout out again to our recreation director, Melanie. I'd like to recognize Melanie. She's been with the town 11 years. She's a tireless worker, truly on call 24/7, and she's really the face of this town. Nights, weekends, she's always there. She does a fantastic job, and we're very fortunate to have her. Thank you, Melanie. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. And last but not least, we're going to do ordinance very briefly. We have 3 ordinances left that we need to adopt this evening or consider for adoption. One is an ordinance to appropriate $650,000 for the remediation of Maple Lake Dam. This was money that was actually given to the borough, so we are not taking any money from the borough to do this remediation. Another ordinance is titled Dogs and Other Animals. It's in regard to cat licensing. The last ordinance is titled Refuse Container and Dumpsters. It has to do with placing dumpsters on the street or on private property for lengthy periods of time. And one other thing I'd like to mention is the Memorial Path fundraising program that have undertaken. We're trying to get inscribed bricks to produce a path from the driveway in front of the municipal building out to our new memorial, our new Veterans and First Responders Memorial. Bricks are $150 a piece, and they can be inscribed with a total of 60 characters. And what we'd like to try and do is get 230 bricks. Right now we have 77 bricks, and we're going to be no matter what the number of bricks are that we get, we're going to be installing the memorial path sometime late spring as the weather allows. So please, if you have a veteran or a first responder that you'd like to honor, get that, or if you'd just like to support the effort to honor our veterans and first responders, please go to the website for brickmarkers.com, and there's a link on the borough website that you can find, and that'll take you right there and sign up. One thing that a lot of people have not been taking advantage of the online sign up, they've been downloading a form and just printing it. What you can do is you go to the website and then you scroll down past the brown line, and that allows you to fill out the form online, so you don't have to mail it into the borough. Only thing you have to mail into the borough is your check. So please take a look at that, and it's a very worthy project that the borough is trying to accomplish. And that's all of my report, Mayor. Okay, thank you. So now we'd like to open it again to the public on any subject, except I would like to accept the planning, the redevelopment thing. We've really discussed that pretty much, and I would rather not revisit it, but if anyone else has anything they'd like to discuss, please step forward. Okay.
Ed Morba, Tintle Road. I just want to recognize Melanie Shuckers, who's been here for 11 years. Melanie has been like Bob was saying, a tireless worker. And I think there might have been some discussion, well, even before that. She really is, just has such a great personality. She does such a great job. She works so many hours. She's enthusiastic. She, the folks in town, and I don't have kids in the school, in the system anymore, but I know Melanie for many, many years. She's a valuable member of the community. So I do have a question. Was there a discussion on the council to give her a raise recently?
That's something that the council can't discuss. It was not done. If that was done, it was not done in open session, so the council can't discuss it.
So I would like to recommend to the council that Melanie Shuckers, I think that she deserves a raise, and she's worked very, very hard. And I would like the council to consider, very respectfully, to make sure we keep her, and to give her a raise.
Thank you, Mr. Mormon. Mr. Schlett? If you can really say your name loud.
Yeah, Fred Gillette. I am a Knights of Columbus, and December 6th, overall was a phenomenal day for this town of Camelot. It started with the breakfast for the Knights of Columbus with Santa, then it went right into the fire department parade with Santa, and then ended up here, the Winter Wonderland. It was a phenomenal day for everybody. I have customers that are continually coming up to me and telling me what a wonderful time it is, and I want to thank the mayor, the council, the fire department, and everybody involved in it. It was a great day, and let's continue with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so anyone else like to make any comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the dais and close the meeting to the public. Next, we have payment of the bills. So I guess I need a motion to pay the bills.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I am.
Is that a second?
That's a second.
All right, can we just do this by voice vote? Or do we have to have a roll call? All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have the consent agenda, and lost my place. Can I borrow this?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we have A through H and J through N. If you'll notice, I was canceled, and the reason I was canceled was because the price of salt has gone up, so we have to cancel that request and go with a new contract. So I need a motion, and I guess we'll just take these all together unless someone has an objection, wants to call anything out. Anyone want to call? Okay, so let's take these all together. We'll go A through H and J through N. Like a motion to adopt, to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, and we got to do roll call. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Yes.
All right, so next we have payment of school taxes, and in the amount of $3,510,791. Do I have a motion to pay the school taxes?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
That's a second.
All right, roll call, please.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Oh, yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Okay. And now we come to 11, Treasurer's Report. Madam Clerk, would you give us our Treasurer's Report?
The Treasurer's Report indicated we started out with cash on hand as of October 31st, 2025, in the amount of $10,238,902.26. Receipts for the month of November totaled $14,223,186.78, with disbursements amounting to $7,356,534.51. The new balance on hand on November 30th, 2025 was $17,105,554.53.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, and now we have 12, Tax Collector Report and Investment Officer's Report.
Tax Collector's Report. During the month of November 2025, the Tax Collector's Office processed a total of $12,521,238.22. The Investments Officer's Report, a total of $51,845.71 was earned in interest for the month of November 2025.
Okay, so now we're going to go to old business, and old business consists of these 3 ordinances that were introduced last month. So ordinance number 2025-6 20-2025, an ordinance of the Borough of Kinnelon, County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $650,000 for the remediation of Maple Lake Dam. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on November 20th, 2025. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal building bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 20-2025. I will now close, oops, sorry. So, we open the meeting. I'm just going to, would anyone like to make any comment on 20-2025 from the public? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close this meeting to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time? Hearing none, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 20-2025.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
All right, so the motion carries. What would you like me to read? Nothing? Just
Yeah, you don't have to read.
All right, so motion carries. Moving on, we have ordinance number 22-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 110 of the Borough Code entitled Dogs and Other Animals. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on November 20th, 2025. This proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal building bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 22-2025. Come on, Vince. Say something. No, okay. I get it. All right, seeing none, I will close this meeting to the public and bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time? All right, so may I have a motion, please, to adopt ordinance 22-2025?
Make motion.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, and roll call?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Yeah.
And Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. And last but not least, we have ordinance 23-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 162 of the Borough Code titled Refuse Container and Dumpsters. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on November 20th, 2025. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal building bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 23-2025. Chief, anything to say on this ordinance? Okay. All right. Seeing none, I will close it to the public, and I will now bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time?
Yeah, Council President, I just have a little bit of concern with this ordinance. Obviously, earlier in the year, we addressed the ordinance with trailers being parked in the road.
Right.
KPD has been awesome attending to that. My only concern with this ordinance, and excuse me, I don't know that I absorbed everything clearly. My concern is for people that do want to do improvements on their properties. Understand, we don't want dumpsters on a property for 2 or 3 years where people are just sitting stagnant. My only concern is that with projects, sometimes constructing a house can take over a year. I don't want to create a situation with an ordinance in the community where we are harassing or have an ordinance in place where that particular person that's trying to improve their property and because it's taking a certain period of time, it hampers them from, doing what they're doing without a fine. That would be my only concern with this ordinance.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. I mean, we did discuss the length of time that dumpsters were permitted to stay on private property as opposed to in the road. And we lengthened that period.
We covered that with the trailer, that's like, kind of like the biggest thing, we covered that part of it with the containers in the road, that I remember.
Yeah. And we extended the period of time, duration and posting of permit. And right now it's, I guess you get a maximum of 90 days, but then you can extend that. So is that?
Council President, can you read the ordinance?
Good. I mean, you all should have read
I
this.
read it, but maybe the public hasn't read it.
Well, that's why I asked for the, I don't
Sean
think,
brought up a point, so maybe they want to, maybe they'd like to revisit.
what's that?
It is posted
It is
on the
posted
website.
online. I don't really want to take the time to read this ordinance. It's rather lengthy. I mean, it's literally 3
Is it
pages
expensive?
of time. You don't want to read it. You really don't want to read this. All right, so you're noted, your objection is noted. So, does anyone else have anything to say? And actually, I would actually like to ask the chief if there's, is it, right now, we're in a situation where we have snow coming, and we have, this addresses trailers or dumpsters that are being put in the road. And the reason why we're doing this, one of the reasons why we're doing this is to allow those dumpsters, or have those dumpsters removed when it creates a situation where the snow, plowing the streets is impacted by having a trailer on the road.
Let's take the two things separate right now. On private property, I believe that, yeah, that should be discretion, so that like Councilman maybe has that great point about the fact that it's there and it can be there for a while.
Right.
And, I think that the town should be able to have the authority discretion to allow that, over a period of time, and be able to say, yeah, they ask for the extensions, they're gonna have it. As far as on the roadway goes though, I mean, this needs to understand, especially now, we're in a safety hazard situation with the snow and ice removal, okay? We're also going to probably run into it over the next couple of days, heavy fog in certain areas.
Right.
Between the cold temperatures and the warm temperatures, okay, you leave yourself open for traffic hazards, safety hazards,
Right.
in darkened roadways with a dumpster, okay, which is no longer there, okay, in any area in town right now, on
Okay.
the roadway.
All right.
Okay, that's it. All right, the trail ordinance works and everything like that, the actual dumpster itself was not really covered in that, okay?
Right.
It is covered in this ordinance.
Right.
But I do agree with Councilman Avey about, the extent of time on property that needs to be understood differently than parking on the roadway, having
Okay.
on the roadway.
Right.
Especially again now, because even if that dumpster is removed, that ice and snow, just like when there's a car parked on the roadway, it piles up.
Right.
The difference between a dumpster by itself and a vehicle is a vehicle is a registered vehicle, and that's how parking kind of where it's going. A dumpster is an object that's placed in the roadway. Now, there's certain things that cover that also, but this obviously makes it much easier. And again, I think this is just kind of trying to catch up everything, the fact that we really didn't have a dumpster ordinance through the construction department, anything to basically know where these dumpsters are too.
Right.
Because it just ended up showing up on a roadway. Okay, so I hope I answered what you're asking.
Yeah. Yeah. So my concern is if we don't pass this tonight, then we leave ourselves open for allowing dumpsters on the road. Someone could come in and put a dumpster down, and then we don't really have the legal wherewithal to have them remove it, other than a strong suggestion from the chief of police saying this is going to, be a problem. So what I would like to do is go ahead and pass this ordinance, and then if we need to revisit the time period on private property, then we do that at our earliest convenience in 2026, and just make a small amendment to the length of time so that we don't miss the opportunity to address the real serious. And right now, it's not quite as serious having dumpsters on private property, but it is a serious situation having a dumpster in the road. So if anyone objects to that, please vote your heart, but bless you. But I'd like to I guess, what are we doing? We need a motion. So we need a motion to adopt ordinance 23-2025.
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Cherto?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilwoman Frank?
Yes.
Councilman Reckler?
Yes.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, so motion carries. Now we're on to new business, and thankfully there is no new business. So we have one appointment for the Kinnelon Volunteer Fire Company, as was mentioned before. Thomas Scognamiglio is actually, I think how you say it, Scognamiglio, will be joining, I don't know, Councilman Cherto, do you remember what?
He's on company 2.
Company 2? Okay. And number 16, resignations. We are very sadly accepting the resignation of Jessica Zelenak of SOSAC. And unless there's anything else anyone would like to address, we are at the point of adjournment. So we need a motion.
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? What? Oh, do we have a roll call? No, we don't have to do a roll call. All right. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so as Jim would say, go Colts.
Broke it.
Merry Christmas. God bless you, everyone. I should have done that.
Coincide.
Well, the line from